and welcome to the next episodes of Dungeons and Dialogues. I am your host, Joey, joined here again with my lovely guest hosts, Dylan, Sam, Nicole.
What's up?
This is going to be part 2 of the water campaign, correct, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott's still sick.
Scott's still sick.
Same session for us, really.
We just kept going to get it all fresh. Just to guess a little backstory on why we're doing this. I don't know if we actually covered that in the first episode. If not, then you just skip this part and I'll try and fix that.
Okay.
But we recently completed the water campaign that I was a member of the very first session. And these guys, along with Scott, finished out for like a year.
It was definitely an accomplishment.
It was,
and it took forever to finally.
I'm sorry.
It took forever to finally finish it. Yeah.
So now this is just part 2 of that discussion of the whole campaign. And the last time we left off, you guys put a whole cruise liner ship full of souls into a soul gem.
Yeah.
From what I heard.
Okay, hold on. I forgot to say in the last session. My character is obsessed with gnomes. That's why I bought gnomes. She loves them, and she loves them too much. I just want to put that
They're her
out.
favorite thing.
They are her favorite thing.
Yeah, like the taste of gnome blood was like the best flavored gnome blood. And
There is no other
gnomes
blood
are
that
cuter
tastes
than any other race.
other than God, maybe. God blood probably tastes better than
God,
gnome blood.
non-blood.
Only
She
by
loves them.
Narwhal's blood
She
man would be the best.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I love cheeseburgers, but if somebody offers me, like, the best made crab rangoon, then it tastes better. I just like cheeseburgers more.
If it was a gnome god, then yes.
Narwhal.
I can see it.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Too
that's
bad you
why
don't
I
have any
bought
gnome
gnomes.
God blood.
And that's why, yeah. Okay.
And then-
Back to the couche.
Yeah, like we put a whole bunch of people on that in that soul gem, and you had to get their names or whatever
Yeah.
From the captain.
from the captain, and
Who
that
is
was part
so-
of it because you needed their name to get their soul.
Just the nicest guy in the
Yeah,
world.
he was just like, yeah, I'll give you all their names, no problems.
Well, and it was.
He just walked in, he
That
looked
was like
me
the
in the
first time
eyes.
that having, because we had already established at some point canonically in the campaign that names were important. Getting someone's name was hard to do,
Yeah.
and this seemed to be why. This is like, oh, it's because with someone's name you can get their soul, like easy. So that's what we did. We converted them to XP.
To use for enchantments and potions and what have you.
And that wasn't even the only boat we did that to.
Okay, so was there more than once? Because I've only ever heard of the cruise ship. I've never heard of any other time you had to stop and refill the soul gem on the way to the next
Ship,
location.
it wasn't just that it was the souls. We gave the cruise ship to our keeper of writ, and he ate it.
Yeah.
And it was worth $1 million gold.
Jesus!
So we didn't have to pay any taxes after that. That was like because we gave so much, we had so much backlog.
Because that's what we did. We told him, we were like, look, just the boat itself, don't convert that to treasure for us, and then whenever we get treasure, take it out of the boat.
Yeah.
And that way we didn't have to, we were paying the tax,
Right.
but we had
It was
already
basically-
put 1 million coins towards it. Whatever we got for the next 1 million coins worth of tax was ours.
Yeah.
Um,
That's good.
and,
right.
well, what we didn't expect, though, is that when he ate, the cruise ship was made of gold.
Oh,
First
man.
off, it was like an
Ivory,
iron cruise ship, an
like,
ivory
it
and
was
stuff. And it was a whole bunch of rich people on the boat. So we didn't really feel bad when we were like, oh,
Yeah,
we're going to turn
whatever.
them into soul fuel.
We were also
Um,
evil, so I mean, that
Yeah.
Fuck
didn't
yeah.
hurt.
But then, like, they were all, like, rich, snooty assholes anyway. And then when we had the Keeper of Writ eat the boat, he got, like, a huge power-up. Like, he like, changed colors.
This is to go a step further
And we had
beyond.
already been really cool with our Keeper of Writ. Like, all the time, if we got random treasure that we didn't want, like, or sometimes, like, there's this one time that Sam got this sword that was in a rock.
I heard about this.
And we just found all this treasure. It was like a huge treasure hoard, and one of the things in the room was a sword that was stuck in a rock. And the rock could be moved too, but you weren't going to use this sword effectively while it was stuck to this rock.
Not with my strength.
And so I thought to myself, without even really thinking, like, we should get that on the boat before we try to rip the sword out, because that'll make it worth more. And then, like, immediately after I'm thinking that in my own head, Sam's like, oh, I'll pull this sword out of this stone. And I was thinking, I could mention that, but nah, what are the odds he pulls it out? And then he gets, like, a nat 20. And it's like, shing! And it's the only treasure we got to keep from that boat. Like,
And I
because
just
the rest
wore
of
it.
it, yeah.
I never used it.
Never
'cause
even
I
used it.
didn't like. I didn't like using swords.
Wait,
I like,
no, we got a bunch of paintings.
That makes sense.
I remember you
We
guys
were
were
obsessed.
talking about trading paintings for something.
Yeah, we were obsessed with paintings. We kept getting paintings from other people's ships.
Put them in your boat.
Well, because in the treasure, in the DMG, like, priceless art is like a common, expensive treasure.
Yeah.
Like,
Boats definitely have priceless arts on them.
mm-hmm.
So,
So,
rich people.
And it makes sense in a pirate campaign because that's what they did.
Yeah.
That's what you would steal. Yeah, but it went really well. Our keeper of Rick got stronger, and we didn't know that was a thing. So
Yep.
now we wanted to make him even stronger.
by feeding him even more of our treasure. Because, like, we would just, like, Scott would walk by and be like, I flick him a gold piece, and he'd, like, catch it like a dog. Like that's
Yeah.
me. Like,
I love feeding the keeper of Rick because we had corpses too.
yeah, we would
Just
feed him. I remember when we started getting into, because we would feed him dead corpses all the time. He was
Oh,
like, I'll eat anything, pretty
That's
much.
like
Like,
shit.
so we would
Well,
feed him
hey,
the
man,
corpses.
We weren't using them.
Yeah, and he wanted to feed him. But then there was a point where, like, we started, like when we did the boat with all the souls, right? We had all these husks, and we fed him those, and he was like, these taste off. Like, he's like, there's something wrong about these ones. Like, they don't taste as good. And it's like, probably the fact that we ripped their souls out. Like,
Yeah.
sorry, it's just a husk of a husk. Like,
Next time we get some fresh, soul-filled body.
yeah.
That's you, man. Don't even worry about it.
Or at least a body that its soul got to go to the afterlife.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
How to clean the skate.
But like, so we were cool with our keeper of Writ, and that was part of it. We had with some of the favors we had done for the Pirate King, because he would constantly ask us to do something, and then it was almost never really that hard. It was something that was like, okay, and then if we ran into that task, we took care of it, and then we'd get a hold of him, and that was the campaign for a couple of months, just doing shit for the Pirate King, and it was always like menial. It was never
Like
really-
how
like do some combat against something that was unremarkable.
Go find the sword of something.
Yeah.
The cold place. The island that was cold.
Yeah, exactly.
Wherever
We
that-
got
I've written
wishes,
it,
too, out of it.
Yeah, we got like
wishes.
yeah. It was
Damn.
basically whatever we wanted, and that's like how we.
That's how we funded our treasure stuff.
Yeah.
And we also eventually got to the point where we were like, I was like, I want a 10% tax. And he was like, deal. And the next time I was like, I want no tax. He's like, deal. Like, so we got rid of the tax at some point,
So I
too.
got my drills. The
Yeah.
first couple of drills I got, we did some work for it, and I was like, I want 2 million drills, and he's like, here's 200, and I'm like, all right.
Better than nothing.
Yeah, right. It's better than no drills. And then I started making drills. So yeah,
We'll get there.
I'll make them myself.
About then, I think, is when we actually ran into Eden.
Yeah.
Who's eating?
Eden the Terrible
Oh.
was the Pirate King's left hand,
Nicole's.
and Nicole's brother.
So,
Did you know that at the time? No. So I don't remember how you figured that out, because I
it
know
was
we discovered
after.
Eden, I think, brought it
it.
up.
Told her.
Yeah, I think.
Like, sister, where have you been?
Yeah, I think that too. Wait, was it in this
Now I
last
have to
episode?
think.
No, it was, I think
No,
it was
that
on the
was
island. It was on the cold
There was
island.
we had to stop on an island.
Oh. Yeah, and he told me I am the queen of vampires because my
Yeah,
dad's
you were a princess.
Princess, yeah.
yeah, princess. And
Yeah.
then
Your dad was Dragul, the vampire king, and it's like all vampires on the plane were subservient to him.
and I still didn't know about mine or you yet, so.
And that must have been when we first started getting like the idea that we can get your memories back. And then somehow I forget what it was. He didn't want a diplomacy because he was a terrible dude. He just wanted to fight.
Yeah.
So it was like me against him.
Yeah, you were like captain versus captain. I think
Yeah.
was how it was set up.
You didn't like him because of Vonnie's character.
Because of Rosewood.
Yeah, because of Rosewood somehow.
Rosewood didn't like him, I guess.
Eden it wasn't like
likable hard about D&D.
The battle was pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it was. He was getting like Rodney started us like 60 feet apart, and then I won initiative and immediately cast like Elvard's black tentacles on the square that he's in, and so he's just getting grappled by these tentacles, and they're just beating the shit out of him. And then like after 2 or 3 rounds, he gets out of the tentacles and he's like, "I'm coming for you," and I was like, "Tentacles, where you're at now?" Like, and I did that like 4 times until I was out of cast of the tentacles, and by then he was almost dead. And by the time he actually got to me, I was just like, "Now I'm gonna zap you with some lightning or something."
No, it was he got out of the tentacles and then he killed his right hand man, who was Nicole's
Related to-
cousin.
No, it was his cousin too.
Yeah,
He was related to us.
and he killed him because he didn't help him.
I
But it was
diplomas-
captain versus captain. That
I
was like
diplomatized my way, or whatever it's called, about him fighting us, and he took a knee or something.
no,
we killed him.
killed him with the death effect.
Yeah, you came over.
You
No,
can't
I'm
stick
talking
it
about
in.
my cousin.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, he.
Yeah, didn't I
It,
diplomat
we weren't.
myself?
It was
Yes.
captain versus captain. Neither team was supposed to fight the other person, and that was how it was set up at the beginning. And then we were like, at the end, when he finally got out all those goddamn tentacles, he was like, I'm going to kill you because you didn't help. And he did.
Okay.
And we were like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And we made an agreement that we wouldn't kill each other because it's captain versus captain. And you were like, and he like started turning towards us, and you were like, heart attack. You were like, heart attack.
It was like an immediate death effect.
Yeah.
It killed him.
Yeah, I killed him one shot. It was like,
Well, he was.
shot heart.
He had been through like 4 rounds of getting his ass beat by tentacles, or like 8 rounds, because it took him more than a round to get out each time.
Yep.
So he was not ready for it. No, because then you went to you were like upset that you killed him, and you didn't mean to. And at that point, you had just started becoming a ritual user.
Yeah.
Rosewood knew how to do all the rituals, was like the lore, and he was like, "I'll teach you if you want to learn rituals. I can totally teach you how to do that." And so you started doing that, and like one of the first rituals we did was you wanted to bring your brother back as an undead again. You wanted to revive him. And then, like, as you're doing the ritual, it was like, oh, he doesn't want to come back. And you were like, what the fuck, that ungrateful asshole, and you went to hell.
Yeah.
Like, you did a different ritual that was like, I'm gonna go talk to him. And he was in, like, this chain hell, chained up to the walls, and
Rodney
chained up
was
to
like,
everything.
There's no way to bring him back if he doesn't want to. And Dylan, I remember he was just like, let me see that fucking book.
I'm like, I don't know about that.
Nicole's character was like, I want to go in and talk to him. Dylan's like, going through the pages, like, where's the goddamn ritual? Bring it back without his permission.
We did find it, I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right at
yeah.
the end, there was like, because he was like, there is a ritual to bring
It's
it
like
back.
revive unwillingly or something.
Right. And then
We
that
went
was
down there anyways, talked to him. We're like, you have to come back or you don't.
Nicole convinced him to come back by herself. It was really good. It was
And
fun.
he came back.
He was super pissed, though. He was not okay.
He acted like he was, but we
Found out later
figured it
that
out.
he's a douchebag
He's
through and
fucking
through.
terrible.
Yeah,
He's
that was the
worst.
one thing. Rodney definitely made Ardorn the unbelievable, and every time he was around, it was unbelievable what was going down. Every single time. And the same thing, this Eden dude, it didn't matter what the fuck was going on, he was a terrible fucking
I
dude.
really wanted him not to be, though.
Yeah.
I was, like, trying so hard.
I should have like changed his mind.
Yeah, right, we should have, like,
character.
well, you didn't have that yet, because he was still undead. You got that later.
Yeah, I did.
It's
That
hard.
was funny. Scott didn't let us kill any dragons. I was so upset.
Yeah, we ran into a couple.
I was gonna make my mummy wraps out of dragon brain. I did it later because I could just summon whatever,
He could just craft anything.
anything that I needed. Like I was like, I could just. I don't remember what the spell is, but you
greater
just,
crafting or something like
you,
that.
you just create a
Greater
material.
creation. That might be
Yeah, creation. You can just create materials that I wanted. And I was like, I want to create dragon brains. And then my mummy wraps with dragon brains
Yeah.
later.
Flax
That's
it,
it.
dried them out, and made it into like a... Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. But, I mean, we did so much during the water campaign. It's hard to remember everything.
Yeah, I feel like we missed some stuff already.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we definitely did.
We definitely
Wait,
jumped
what?
going to the island, the cold island.
And
I
the
wasn't
dragon-
here for this. I
Wait,
don't know what's.
we missed the dragon where we went to our island and...
Oh, yeah!
Oh, my best friend!
On Hazad Dune, we went up, there was a mountain, and there was a big cave at the top of the mountain. And so we were all like, okay, let's go up there. Actually, I think it was just me and Scott at first, because you guys came over.
No, I was
Or
looking
just
for
you
a
and
place to
Scott.
build my. No, it was me and Nicole, and I was trying to find a place to put my. It might have been just me, honestly, because I remember going there and then
went and me and you went to check out this little house cabin thing.
yeah, and
and
then
we went
Scott
right to
stayed
the-
on the boat, and I think he was making drinks,
That makes sense.
and then like I got there and there
I
was a
was getting
dragon.
trees.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I took my drills and I like drilled through the trees, and then I used my sonic push to knock them all down because they were
Nice.
weak, and then he was picking them up, and like we were making like the fences or something for the town.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm gonna go look at the top of this super fucking out of place tall mountain.
No, you wanted to make your house up there.
Yeah, I did, and I went up there, and there was a cave. And I was like, I want to look in the cave, and there was just a giant black dragon. And I had a psionic ability. I forget what the name is right now, but it like changes how people perceive you. And I was like, I want to make him my best friend right now. And he didn't pass the will save, and he like came out with his dragon aura, just ready. And then Scott's character felt it.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm flying towards that dragon right now.
And he picked us up, because he grabbed me and Nicole
Yeah.
when he was flying. Because he was bigger already. He
And then the
wasn't...
dragon was like, oh, what is this? And he felt him come in, and he picked me up all randomly, and my character screamed, and we flew to the the place where you guys were coming from. It was
Scott, like, he wanted to be upset with Scott because Scott was another big-ish black dragon in his area. But Scott was like, "Nah, man, I'm a dragon shaman. I pretty much literally worship you. So this is your mountain. You know, I'm not going to stop that." And then I was like, "Well, but that's our island."
And then he did a fear effect on you.
Yeah, and I fucking failed, like with like a nat 1. And
Yeah.
so I was like pissing my pants, and he's like, "It's my island if I say it's my island." And I'm like,
"Yes, sir."
Alright. And then I even have it still, like, we ended up with, by the end of the campaign, we have 3 character sheets because or at least I did, because I just moved to one thing to another. Like, when I liched, I wrote it all on a new sheet, and then when I became an arch lich was a new sheet, and God was a new sheet. So, like, when all these things were going through, at the very earliest sheet I have, at the top it just says how written, "I am afraid of giant black dragons." Like,
You should keep
that
that
is just
as
a
a god,
true-
like, you don't like them. You don't want to answer giant black dragons.
You don't talk to Scott
I just
anymore.
make Scott do it.
Yeah, right?
You don't even talk to Scott anymore. Like, there's a black dragon in there. I don't talk to those.
I never had a problem with Scott, though.
Yeah, he was under you. He was your crew, so.
But no,
He's
I think-
not even a real dragon, though, is why, you know.
Yeah, he's
sure.
a false dragon.
I don't like real black dragons.
Real ones.
Like,
I'm getting you to say that to his face.
yeah, right. What else did we do? Is there anything else on House of Doom for that island?
I don't know.
There's a lot. Sorry if we're jumping around. It's just that, like,
There's so much.
there's so much.
Excuse me.
We fought a lot in Sea.
Yeah, there's a lot of random fights for a while.
Didn't we around this time catch the little guy for you? Wait, no. Talk about the story where your god invited you to eat, and you got a thing on your neck.
Oh, that was on the cold island.
The spider?
Yeah, that was
No,
right after, because
was-
you just started eating brains.
No, I
On
had been eating brains for a while, but I didn't like it. And then, like, it was funny, too, because I definitely started off, like, eating brains is disgusting. As a player, I was like, that's not something that I'd want my character to do.
Uh-huh.
But I'm praying to this god, and I'm trying to convince him not to eat our plane. So, I mean, I guess I'll eat brains for him. And then, after a while, like, I was doing it just so much.
Yeah.
Every enemy, I took their brain. It
Yep.
didn't matter if they were dead already.
Smart,
like,
stupid.
smart, stupid. And I was like, yeah, I get he's got a brain. And I need to eat it for my god. And then my character just started loving it.
Yeah.
So much. And yeah, you're right. On that ice island, we fought a god slayer.
It was a Titan God Slayer.
A Titan god slayer. And then, like, it was funny too, because we didn't kill him. We just chopped his head off. And
Yeah.
it was definitely still alive. Rolling down this flight of stairs.
It was like laughing at us and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a crazy, like, and my character was like, in character, I was just like, ooh. And like, I was like, my character follows the brain. He goes with it, and he eats it. And like, he was just screaming while I was eating it.
Yeah, he was, because that was the thing, is like, he thought he outsmarted us when he couldn't die, and then you were like, ooh, it's like a buffet that never runs out. He was like,
But I ate that, and then I shared half of it with my god, and it had like a ton of power, I guess, because it was a Titan God Slayer. And he gave me a gift. He gave me it's a
Amaranth or something?
amaranth, yeah, burrowing psionic worm that had like tentacles for like a tongue. And they like grappled with tentacles. And that's kind of what I wanted to do with my character. I ended up going Eldritch with him at the end, so you can
Kind of
only
like
imagine.
Mind Flayer-y. And...
Yeah, Mind Flayer definitely inspired Mind Flayer. But when I like went and talked to him and he gave me this gift, Scott's character was standing behind me in the real world because I went to a different plane to do this with my god. And he gave me this gift in the real world, and Scott was like, "Oh, there's a bug on your neck," and then he killed it.
Yeah, he's like, I want to smack it. And Rodney was like, roll your claw damage, or whatever.
yeah.
And Sam was immediately like, Scott, like, if you fucking kill this thing. And Scott was like, no, man. And like, he rolled the damage because Rodney wasn't taking that back. Scott had said he was doing it.
Yeah.
And then it definitely killed it because it only had like 4 hit points.
It like splatted it everywhere.
Yeah.
And my
Oh,
god
so
did
you
not
were
give me a new one right then. Like,
You were like,
I was so
actually upset for like,
I mean,
like another month and a half or 2 months. Like,
Yeah,
you
I
were
know.
constantly giving Scott shit about it.
because I didn't get a new one for way
no.
longer. And like, it was a gift from my God.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the
It
thing
was like
I was
the
going to
first
build my
gift.
character
Oh my
around.
God, yeah.
The first time, I was going to build it around spiders. That shit backfired.
Yep.
Second time, I was going for tentacle monsters. And that shit fucking backfired.
And at that point, we were the Kraken Capers. Like,
Yeah,
fucking-
right. And we had to crack. Yeah, caper or Kraken.
Not even the ones.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
That was bad enough that we were all like, Scott! Like, what? Why? Like, no!
That thing would have gotten like way more powerful if it. I mean,
It
it
was
got
like-
powerful, and it ended up when I did get it. It was pretty powerful, but
Mhm.
like if it grows off you, like it's supposed to be more powerful and there's more new traits.
For sure.
Ugh.
I was so mad, but I forgave him because the campaign's over.
Yeah. And we ended up scaling way past that.
Yeah, I got a Kraken later, I think. Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
Did
We
you
did
get
get a
that
Kraken.
Kraken?
yeah,
we
we
did get
capered
a
it.
Kraken.
Soon, eventually.
And
Yeah.
then, well, hold on. What is there anything else major that we did before?
Probably.
I liched at
Yeah.
some point.
Yeah.
I liched at level like 10 or something because I had a feat that gave me 2 caster levels or whatever. So like it let me, I don't know, become a lich with 2 levels caster level younger than I should have been able to.
Yeah, right.
And then there was something else too.
I became a master vampire.
Yeah, that was after because we went there when I was already a lich.
It's tough, man. Jesus.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we did a lot in just the water campaign.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if there's anything else before. I guess if there was anything else, it was mostly like all these people that we've met, except for pretty much Eden. We really became friends with. Like
right.
we became friends with Ardorn. We became friends with Howlet.
The battle
We even got
with
them.
the Pirate King.
Huh?
The battle with the Pirate King.
That's still coming up. So
Yeah.
I think we still got a couple. We still got a lot of shit that happened.
Yeah,
like,
there's
it's
still
just-
a lot going on from what
It's
I've
just
heard.
I don't remember it all because not only like the water campaign went on, but then we went to a completely new.
Oh,
campaign
you know something
with
that happened
the
that was.
same characters.
There's something that was small. Okay, so let's go ahead and I know a couple of things now. So one thing that we did was when I liched is the most next thing I can think of because everything else I can remember I was already a lich.
Yeah.
So that was cool because Manit came and helped me, and he's the Pirate King. Good.
Was it your mom?
I was a lich already for that too.
Yeah, that was right after almost.
Was that right after?
Yeah, almost directly.
Okay. So, he was like, yeah, I'll proctor it or whatever. And then, like, the ritual itself was like, we had to find a water gray elf that was half my age, because I was a water gray elf before I liched. And then a water gray elf that was twice my age. And Manith was like, yeah, I did that for you. Don't worry. And he was, weirdly enough, he was also a water gray elf lich. So he was like, my bro, through and through.
Cool guy, man.
And we had to like pull out all their teeth one by one while they were like tied up to a chair, and then I like
watched. It was
ground them up into like a powder, and then did some other fucked up shit.
Sorted it.
So, yeah, probably. But that was like the lich process. Is I had to go through like torturing these people of my own
Jesus
race
Christ.
until I was a lich, and it worked.
And I watched. My character loved
I
watching
watched.
torture. That happened a lot.
Because there was a ritual when I was studying.
Yeah. And so we finished that, and that was a big deal because that was like. That was, I'd say, the turning point when it went from, like, okay, we stopped running from shit at that point. Like, we were like, okay, our captain's a lich, and we're all pretty powerful at this point, too. Like level, like, 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, like, we can fight pretty much anything. And, yeah, then we went back to where my mom lived, because I was always in blue robes, even after I liched. And I attributed that to being, well, my mom was a blue-robed wizard, and that was why I looked into magic at all, and then I became a pirate because I rode on a pirate ship when I was a kid, and that's where my dad died. So,
Unknown sir.
yeah. And so, like,
Random event.
we ran into my mom, and no, we did Mephistopheles next.
Yeah, that was
We did because that was just before.
Can I get that name one more time?
His name is Mephistopheles.
Got it.
We ran into him on the ocean. He's like the second biggest archfiend in hell. The biggest being Asmodeus. He used to be bigger, but Asmodeus was like basically thrown into hell and made this. There were 6 layers, and Mephistopheles ruled them. And then all the good gods banished this dude Asmodeus to the now new 7th layer, and he is stronger than Mephistopheles. He rules now. But we met Mephistopheles on the ocean, and he knew that we liked that I at least liked to play chess, and he was like, "Come back in 3 days, and we'll have a competition or whatever. It'll be a game, and then if you win, you can get 3 wishes." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, we can do that." And then he put this seal on me, like when I shook his hand. That was like, it wasn't going to let me renew my spells for like the next like 3 days, which is how long it was until our competition. And so I just walked over to Nicole, who at this point had started to become a really good ritualist. And I was like, "Hey, like, get rid of this." Like, and she's like, "Boom, it's gone." Like immediately, like we were like, "I'm not. That's cheating."
We're not stupid.
But it was really cool when we got there because he had this huge boat, and then he made it like a chess game. And so all of us were the pieces. I was the king on our side, and then I got to pick who was my pawns, who was my knights, rooks, bishops, and all that. And then we actually played chess, like on the grid with minis and stuff, using the real rules of chess. But then when you went to take a piece, they had to actually have a combat, and then we would get teleported to an arena and watch them fight.
That's great.
And then whichever one won took that square. And it was really cool, and I was really making sure to make sure that everyone in my party got to fight someone, because I didn't want someone to miss out on this cool chess combat thing. So like, it was Mephistopheles, and then he had a whole bunch of demons that were really powerful, like Blabberzu and stuff like that were fighting us on the other side. And I remember Nicole was the one I was fighting with the most, because she was like, I think my queen piece, and she was just like, I was moving her and fighting a bunch of shit, and she was constantly killing things. Nicole's we had rescued Elizabeth. Because Elizabeth was my pawn. And we used her a bunch too.
Elizabeth, that was a story.
We'll go to that right next, because this one's almost done.
That was way.
Because that was fucked too.
Yeah. Okay.
It was like a year ago.
Okay, when did we fight? Okay, we did. Is this the one where we like fought the dragon? Right.
No, that was earlier. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Christ!
Finish the story and let's figure this out.
Yeah, so...
Because we're about a half hour into this podcast.
We sent... I got him in checkmate. Like, legitimate, real chess checkmate.
Nice.
Which wasn't hard because we never lost a square. Every time we fought one of their demons, the demon or devil, whatever, died. And so it was no problem. We won the chess game, and then during the checkmate, Scott's only attack, like, I hadn't fought anything else on the board with him. I had him attack Mephistopheles, who was the king. And Scott fought him and got like a huge amount of damage. It was like 400 damage in like turn 1. And Mephistopheles was like, "I'm not dead, but that really fucking hurt." And like he hit Scott for like 400 damage, and then Scott's like, "I'm not dead, but that really fucking hurt."
I thought he killed him one hit.
Then
Did he kill him in one hit?
No, it was 2 hits.
Okay.
But it was really close slow.
Yeah.
And so when Scott got his second hit, he actually won. And that was how we won the chess game. And it was clear after that, because Asmodeus was like backing off. Like, he was clearly like intimidated by not just our party, but Scott alone. He's like, "That thing can kill me."
Yeah, right.
Like, because the chess game was set up so that even though he lost, no one died or anything. It was more of like a game. Yeah. So, but one of the wishes we made was that, I was like, I wish that, I personally had his bloodline. Like, I was his son. So he went back in time, and made that happen.
Nice deal.
And then...
So Asmodeus is your dad?
yeah, so, and then I became, instead of just being,
Grey Elf.
a regular lich, I became what's called a lich fiend.
Nice.
So I got templates for, like, fiend and for lich, and it was just way stronger. And then the other 2 wishes, I was like, "You owe me a favor." And he's like, "That'll cost both wishes." And I was like, "Alright, but when I need you, you cut on." Well, no, we wanted it because when we went to fight Nerl, at this point we already knew we were going to fight Nerl. So we were like, no, we need as many really strong dudes as we can. So that was the chess game, and that was really cool.
Who did you say? I heard you say someone's name. Sadius?
Huh?
Well, we rescued Elizabeth.
No, that's later. I'll talk about that after Nicole does hers.
We should talk about the dragon first, because that happened before Elizabeth.
Is there anything
okay.
that happened before the dragon?
The only
We
thing I can
remember.
think of is Rosewood's Journal. Rosewood's Journal was pretty early.
Talk
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
we need to talk about Rosewood's journal, because that was really important.
Because Rosewood...
Is
So
there anything, hold on,
Rosewood...
is there anything before Rosewood's journal?
Yeah. Rosewood in general was... he was Neryl's petitioner, which means that he had been told by Neril, essentially, like, you are going to train to become a divine rank 0. And the Carceri has, like, a whole thing about doing that. Like, every god has that option to become a petitioner. But all of Carceri's petitioners is, like, a hell to go through to become one. And Rosewood was at, like, stage 3, so he's been alive for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
As you do.
Becoming this petitioner thing. So he's pretty much Neril had him in his pocket. Well, he told us at some point, he's like, yeah, I have this notebook that I write in because I can only hold on to about 100 years worth of memory because that's how long I'm supposed to live. So I started writing down my life so that when those memories were gone, I could at least read them. And he had that book for like the whole time we were there, and I never took it. I never read through it. None of us went through his shit, and that was what Ronnie was expecting for some reason, that we would go through his shit. But we were like, nah, he's on our crew. We trust him.
Other stuff.
Yeah, we respect him. We're not going to go through his shit.
I was reading people's minds like crazy.
So one of the things that I think actually our Dorn gave it to us somehow. We ran into him again, and he was like, hey, have this. And it was a copy of Rosewood's journal. It wasn't the journal. It was literally like page for page the same book, but it wasn't the same book. Because when I had it, I was like, hey, Rosewood, what is this? And he was like, did you go in my room? I was like, no, but what is it? And he goes to his room and comes back with the same fucking book. He's like, it's my journal. Like, I don't know how you have this. And our dorm's like leaving. We're like, that's fucking unbelievable. And so I read through it, and it's like this story about how Rosewood's wife, like, she had been taken by Neril for some reason or another.
Because Neril.
And Rosewood had fought through to Carceri, gotten to Neril's palace, fought through the army of the damned, beaten the army of the damned, and then lost to Neril. And then when he lost to Neril, Neril was like, you're going to be my servant now, and that's when he became a petitioner. And then because he lost his memories after 100 years, he stopped caring about his wife, he stopped caring that he was supposed to be, this person who hated Neril, and he just became Neril's perfect servant. So I read that, and was pissed off. Because at this point, Neril's wanting me to kill Maneth. That's a prophecy set in stone by Neril, who I really liked. And now I find out that Neril fucked over my other good friend Rosewood, who I really like. So from that point on, pretty much as soon as I read that book, I was like, no, fuck all of this prophecy shit. Fuck all of killing the Pirate King. We're gonna go kill Neril. That is our new goal. And Rosewood didn't like that, actually. He was definitely like, I worship Neril. Like, you can't, do that. And he actually tried to leave the boat.
Yeah, he was just convinced. He was like, you'll never win.
Yeah. And so he ends up trying to leave the boat, and we chase his ass down and tell him he's not allowed to leave the boat.
I watch.
Yeah. And so that was a big deal. That was what started our quest. That's what changed the direction from fighting the Pirate King to figuring out how were we going to go to Carceri and fight Neril.
So because
yeah, and that really was important because that's why, like, when we fought Mephistopheles, I wanted that favor. Because I already knew we were going to try to fight Neril, and having someone like that show up during the fight is unbelievably helpful.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the logic behind that. It was after that we found Elizabeth. But the chest with Tiamat was next.
Mm-hmm.
How did that even happen?
I don't remember.
What
All
is
I
the
know
lead up
is
to the
they
chest?
I feel like you crafted something.
Probably. I crafted so much shit, dude. Like, I'm like, too much shit. Way too much shit.
You probably crafted something, and then Tiamat showed up, and Scott was like,
I love you.
The king of the
I
god of
think-
dragons.
I
Oh
think
god.
what happened, you talked to the person that showed up and was like, can I trust with you? And that's
I know I asked her for chess because she was a war god.
Yeah, I think that's what happened, and that's how it turned out.
Because she did something similar where she made us all the chess pieces, but she, fucked us up. It was way worse.
Dragons are tougher than
Turns out dragon gods are stronger than...
She killed you, the first.
Yeah, she killed me in one round, yeah.
Yeah.
She hit me with, a big fire breath or something.
Because our leader just died.
Yeah, we're like, oh, the captain just got obliterated.
And I wasn't the king in this one. It was it was different. It wasn't quite chess. It was more.
I think she just put us to battle with a dragon, just a random dragon, and then that was the only dragon that Scott was
because we did win. Yeah, we did beat it, but
Yeah.
I was just dead.
And it was I think because Scott went next, he was able to grapple it, and then we figured it out from there. We just took it down.
Because that was the same kind of deal. She was like, no, this was more of a test thing than it was an actual thing. Like, no one died. Same with her dragon.
It's like,
And I knew that because I was watching it. Like, I was teleported to like these stands as soon as I was dead, and I was watching the fight. I was like, "Oh, this is bullshit!" Like, I got killed in one round. I'm supposed to be the captain. I look like a bitch now. But yeah, like because that was before I liched too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This all is out of order, but we are trying our best.
Yeah.
There's just so much.
Our stories are getting
water
out.
campaign.
And when we beat her dragon, that we actually got a coin for her that we could flip and
so
summon
what
her
are
once
coins?
per.
Okay.
Coins are the same thing Mephistopheles. He gave me a favor. What they do is they give you a literal coin that you can flip it at any time, and they're there. What's up?
Yeah, I was crafting so many like items that were just like 30s and like 40s that like gods were showing up, and Rodney didn't know what to do with them.
I constantly played them at chess.
He kept giving me just coins. Whenever like a new god showed up, they were like, "Here's a coin. If you ever need me, go ahead." And I had like a pouch full of god coins.
One time he made one that was just some magic item, and Bacab showed up, and I worshipped Bacab already because I was like into magic. I worshipped quite a few gods, but Bacab was a cool one, and I already had a book from Howlet. Howlet had given me Bacab's Blessed Book, which is a book that has all spells listed in it. Essentially, is the idea. And I showed it to him. I was like, "Dude, I have your book," and he signed it for me, and that was super cool. So I have the signed Blessed Book. Like,
Keep that, dude. Keep that on your character.
yeah, and
All times.
yeah, it was cool. And Bacab, we got a coin from him too. Like,
Yes, dude.
we got a coin from Hextor, and I beat him in chess at one point, which was crazy because he was a war god.
Yeah,
I
right.
didn't get a coin from Illocene, but I got
He was
an
just
avatar that followed me around. That was just him.
yeah, it was like a little jellyfish squid thing that
Nice.
floated next to him.
Yeah. Yeah, we did a lot of stuff in the water campaign. It's hard to remember it all.
Another big thing we had that was really useful just the whole time is you made this psionic crown.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the sign crown. It was just share. It was a mind link crown.
Mhm.
I put mind link on it. That way, we all could talk to each other if we wanted to
From like any
from
distance.
any distance through our crowns.
How
That's
we
useful.
got that girl? What was her name again?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
You should know, gosh.
I'm better. I can never remember her name for some reason. It's so simple. But anyways, we went through this whole cave because my senses was telling me to go to this island, right? And then we went to
I
the
forget
right
where
place.
it was.
And my mind kept telling me to go somewhere, so I followed it. And it led us through this big, what was it?
It was like a cavern,
Dungeon
yeah.
with like traps and rooms. And at the end of that, we came upon this dungeon with her hanging from the wall, all like chained,
For like,
beaten,
and at this point, like, you had been on our boat alone for like at least a couple of years, like as a character.
and
And she was there like, "You're alive." Like,
some bad shit happened to her too. Like, I was really mad about it.
I don't even remember this. Like, there was
Like,
just like
she got like
She's, like,
beat,
chained to a
she
wall
got
and-
raped, she got everything. I
Yeah,
remember
her-
because I
her
was
whole-
really mad. And
she
I
was
wanted
just
to
like,
kill
"I've been
him.
tortured here." She was trying to find Nicole too. That was the worst part. She
Oh.
got caught
Yeah.
because Nicole went missing when she lost her memories, and she
Oh,
was
yeah.
Nicole's handmaiden because Nicole was royalty. So she was
No.
like, "It's my job to go find her."
that was Scott's fault.
Yeah, Scar's fault.
Yeah, that's true.
But that
We'll get
later
into that.
on.
Yeah, later.
And after that, I wanted to kill him, but we couldn't for some reason because you wanted to talk to him about his head in a jar. And
Oh, is that?
Oh my god, I forgot all about that.
yeah, and you guys can tell about that.
No, go ahead. You know the lead up.
Well, something happened, and Sam got into the head of the guy, and it became
Who had
into
like
the jar.
captured Elizabeth?
That captured Elizabeth. And Sam went into these like little rooms with doors.
It was
And Sam kept opening up doors, and it just told like stories upon stories of this background character.
he was a
And it was
sand.
really deep.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that. I forgot
Yeah.
all about
You
He's
can
a
tell the
sand
rest.
lich?
It's
Because,
like
like,
a
I
lich
forgot
that's
what
a
happened.
heavy.
Like that's just it's like a
What?
desert lich, like a sand.
Why?
Well,
Why does that
the
exist?
rooms. He kept going to the rooms and kept telling his backstory. Just like his wife got murdered and killed and raped and all this other stuff.
God,
and then
Rodney
like
has a penchant for
And, well, it was an evil campaign. Like,
Yeah.
it happens.
It just didn't happen from us. It just didn't.
And, like, it was really bad. And it told him why that he did everything he did. But it's
Well, we just didn't care.
Yeah.
And you guys figured out about the brain in a jar. And that's how you
Yeah.
guys figured that out.
We went to his brain. I went to his brain in the jar because I'm a scion, and that was like my
Wait,
jam.
no.
It wasn't his brain
Yeah, it
in the
wasn't
jar.
his brain.
He had
No, it was
the
the
creature
It was the
brain
guy
in the
that
jar.
murdered him. His brain in the jar.
Yeah, the guy
Or
that
the guy that
murdered
murdered
his
his wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because like the Lich was there, and the guy that murdered his wife was there, and one of them was the Lich, and one of them was the brain in the
The
jar.
brain in the jar was the guy that raped his.
Yeah, I think the brain in the jar was the most evil one because I ended up eating that brain.
And the guy out there, I think
That's
that's
what we turned into your phylactery.
No, I
Or did we
my
make...
brain
Okay,
into
okay.
the jar, and I made a better
That
jar.
makes sense.
My chair's made out of diamonds.
Yeah,
Made
and
out of mint time.
Yeah, because that was crazy. You were, like... I think I fucked it up, too, didn't I? I shut off the
yeah,
link.
you like
Yeah.
kicked me out, and like you like I was like, because inside of a brain, I feel like I have the most power, because I can alter reality inside someone's head,
Mhm.
but I didn't get a chance to, because he like did something to me, and it like the group kind of like panicked, I guess, because I like my character. I don't remember what happened.
I think he was
remember
trying
I
to take
lost
over
something.
your body from
Yeah.
inside. Like,
And like
and that was
I
not a
lost
good
my
thing
role.
for us. Like,
Yeah, definitely. And
fighting
you, like,
Sam would have been tough.
you like shut it off. And that,
I had gotten, when we met Bacab, one of the things Bacab gave me was the most busted item that any of us got ever the whole time. It was a ring that could turn off all magic for anyone but me within 40 feet. And I put that on. And when that happened, it was like Sam, his link was severed, but he's still in there. Like, it's not severed, and he's out here.
Yeah.
He was in the brain, and it was
Nice.
like, oh, whoops.
Oopsies. And then he had to go in.
I had to go in after him and pull him out somehow.
Yeah, and then after that, I escaped the brain after he took care of it, and then I ate the brain,
Mhm.
and then the Sandlet showed up.
He gave you his brain.
Yeah, it was.
He was just like, oh, I don't need it, and like pulled it out of his head, and it was like old dry jerky. Yeah.
I was like, I'll eat it. But then
That was
'Cause-
like really intense though, like in the moment, because like you told a good story about that.
Yeah.
It was really...
I wish I remember more, but see, this is why we need it recorded. For something
yeah,
like that.
right. And that's like right about when you turn into a Lich, and I wanted to find a way to make my character live forever without becoming a god because I didn't know that would happen. So I asked Maneth if he could help me figure out a way to make a psionic Lich, like a new type of Lich. And like I took my brain out and we put it in this jar, and we put like my soul, my life force into the brain jar, and then my body was an empty husk, but
It was controlled by the brain in a jar, which basically became your phylactery. If your
Yeah.
body died, your brain in the jar was like, I'll just get a new body. Like,
we locked
you
our
would have to
phylacteries
find
up.
one, but...
Where do we lock them up?
So Maneth had a hiding spot. And when I became a Lich, I was like, can I hide my phylactery with yours?
Mhm.
And he thought about it for a second. He's like, you're supposed to kill me. So me showing you where my phylactery is like the worst plan. But I like you, so yeah.
Yeah.
And then I hit my phylactery with it, and then when you got to the same point, we went and hit it with
The
his
other
phylactery
two.
too, and they were on whatever island had the Tahiti tribe, which was like this peaceful like stoner group of like they were just like natives, and all they did was like lived on the beach and smoked. It was like their whole religion or their whole culture.
Yeah.
And so we just hit it in this cave, like deep under, or with like some magic holes or something.
Yeah.
Like, you made like a fake dimension for it, even.
Mhm.
But like we put that in there, and then it was funny because like our phylacteries could talk to each other. Then
Yeah,
they weren't
because
like
mine was,
lonely.
psionic, and it was talking to Dylan's phylactery through a mind link, and yeah,
Go ahead.
it's just
Well, no, that's like pretty much it. Like all of them became friends. Like
and
normally you think like a phylactery is just like this lonely
I like
rock.
lured one of the tribesmen down to where we were, and he like took our stuff out, and then they started wearing our phylacteries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't. So that was funny. We made that. We were joking around about something like that happening. Like not in campaign, not even at the table, just as a group of friends, we were like, wouldn't it be funny if the phylacteries went and, like, got themselves adventurers? Like, they pretended they were magic items, but actually ended up controlling these adventurers. And we had made that, like, a joke, but then later in the campaign, those adventurers, like, showed up. Like, with our phylacteries, and they were, like, 9th level evil barbarians from the Tahiti tribe. Like, and they all were like, why are they barbarians? Like, because that's what the amulets that they have been telling them to do.
Yeah, right.
And, like, you, me, and Manith were all there when that happened, and, like, you and Manith, like, oh, that's cool, and I was like, bad phylactery. No! Like, if you die, I die! Like,
Yeah.
It's like, make sure you make them eat brains.
yeah, right. But that was funny. That was way later, too. That was...
Yeah, right. That was towards the end, too.
But that was funny.
Yep.
Yeah, you got the brain in the jar, and that was, like, another really big step forward. And then I think we had to fight Solomon the Swift. Is that when that happened?
What was the fight like?
That was where he was the other pirate king who came to kill Maneth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because-
that was before then.
Was it before then? That was before the Tahiti
That was
tribe.
before
Yeah.
we figured it out, yeah.
But you were definitely already a brain in the jar.
Mhm.
So this is something that was funny. That dude who killed you,
Yeah.
that cleric, at some
What a
point,
piece
he,
of shit.
he came up to me, who was the new captain, and we had been sailing around for a bit. He showed up on his own boat, and he was like, hey, I still want to join your crew. And I was like, look, dude, like, you killed my captain. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
Like, I won't let you on my crew no matter what, you know? And he was like, well, like, what do I have to do to prove myself? And I was like, look, man, just, you have your own boat, be your own captain, and if you really want to listen to me, then when I call on you, just be ready. And that was, like, early, right? And he was like, okay, sure. We go to fight, so something was happening, and I needed to call, no, Maneth called me. Maneth called me, like, my arm goes off, which had never happened before. I've never gotten the call from Maneth in reverse. I've always called him. And so I, like, answer, I'm like, hello? And Maneth's like, Ardorn, I need your help ASAP! Like, Solomon the Swift's here, and he's trying to kill me! And Solomon the Swift is the pirate king that Maneth killed to become the pirate king, who was also a lich before him. So we're like, well, what the fuck's going on? And we're like, this isn't Ardorn. He's like, fuck! And he hangs up on me. And I'm like, fucking... And he hangs up on me. So I'm like, well, at this point, our boat also had gotten Shadow Step, so we could go anywhere if it was in the dark, and it was nighttime. So we just went straight to him with my ring, which tells us which direction to go. We went straight to him, and he's fighting Solomon the Swift, like, right now.
We got there and the battle's going on. We're like, oh!
So, man, that fight was nuts. So Solomon the Swift was standing on the water of the ocean.
Just
And
hanging
he's,
out.
like, casting spells at Maneth and stuff. And Scott has a spell ability, because he was a black dragon. He could create or destroy a certain amount of water for for amount of space.
Awesome.
And it was really big. It was like 700 or 800 feet or something like that worth of water that he could just completely create or destroy at will. So where he was, we had Scott like remove the water from underneath him, but simultaneously in the same round, Scott was flying above him as this giant big black dragon, and he dive bombs him into the hole that he just made. It's like 800 feet deep. And it slams down, and he takes a ton of damage from Scott landing on him in the water or whatever. And then the water from the ocean itself recollapses into that hole, and that does a shit ton of damage. And Solomon the Swift was dead.
We, like, grappled him, too, right beforehand. We got, like, everyone to like, hold him so he couldn't escape this
Yeah,
spot
yeah.
for Scott to hit.
Oh, and the thing that was funny, too, we had figured out we were going to Karsari, which is where Nero lives. And Maneth is actually the one who told us that you can't get out of Karsari unless you do this special ritual where Greed and Poverty, which are these two demigods,
Little bitches.
they have to open this door, and you can come back out through that door. But to go in the first place, you have to give up what's most important to you. But the only way they could even do that ritual is if someone was fighting the Pirate King at that time. So we sent... I don't remember how exactly it worked out. But we got that guy who was...
The one who killed me?
Yeah, the guy who killed you. I think this might even been a slightly separate event. We just tricked him.
Yeah, this was later on.
Was this a little later?
Yeah.
We were friends with Maneth already. We knew we were friends with Maneth, and we found out that we had to be fighting the Pirate King to get this ritual to go down. Someone had to be. So I call this guy up with our Scions message stuff, and I'm like, "Hey man, long time no talk." And he's like, "Oh, like, what's going on? What can I do for you? You know?" And I'm like, "So we were about to kill the Pirate King," and he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yep. And what we need you to do is be the distraction. So you're gonna come at him head on, and when he goes to kill you, we're gonna flank him and take him out." And he's like, "That sounds really dangerous." And I'm like, "I'm your captain, trust me." And he's like, "Well, okay."
So if you do this, you can become part of our crew.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. And so Maneth, he's riding up towards Maneth. He's waiting for us or whatever. And I'm like standing there watching while the rest of my crew's inside doing this ritual because someone's fighting the Pirate King. And as his boat is going under the water, I'm just like, "You killed my captain."
That's for killing.
That's for killing my captain. Yeah. So we did definitely kill that guy. We didn't let him just get away with it. We got him killed like hard too. Like Pirate King was just like, "Oh, I'm in on this. I know what's supposed to be going on."
Right.
Pirate King was like, "Yeah, this guy's a douchebag."
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we had to give up a lot though, like as a group. I know
Yeah.
that, Nicole, you want to tell them what you had to give up?
Or do we need to go this far yet, or is there more of the campaign?
There's definitely still more we have to
There's
do.
there's tons.
Yeah,
There's,
okay,
like,
well, let's get back to that so we don't just give
I don't-
the ending away right at the end.
I don't know, like, fuck. What else? There was Silent, the place that I was from. When later in the campaign, when I like got a level or something, I became a super strong thrall herd, and there was this explosion of psionic power that like went around the world.
Oh yeah.
And it like hit Silent, and then on Silent, I guess I didn't know this at the time, but like the guy who had my mind in the first place, his head just like exploded, and I had become the new leader of Silent, and that like it took effect, and I didn't go to Silent for like so long.
Yeah.
When I got there, they were like, "Yeah, we killed all the Scion killers, and you had built and everything, just like you wanted." I'm like, "Just like I wanted? What do you mean?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're you."
And Rodney came up with this funny little like bit because they were all dromites. Every one of them was like a little bug person, and he's like, their antennas, like that's how they send the sonic messages, right? But like Sam was like hearing like that's like how they were actually like communicating. It was funny.
I remember that we went to my dad's place because I had to fight him. I forgot, why did I have to fight him?
We weren't supposed to. We got there, and you were going to tell him you had gotten stronger than he was. You were like an 8th or 9th level cleric. Yeah.
Take the knee.
Mm-hmm.
Take your knee down.
Yeah.
Well, we got there, and like the big thing is that we were like, "Oh no, she can handle it." Like we let you go ahead. He greeted you when you got there. He was like, "I'm so glad to see you." Like we all were wondering what the fuck happened, and Elizabeth was with you, so he was like, "She's not dead too. This is fucking awesome. Like let's go have a chat, right?" And so me, Sam, and Scott, we're like, "We'll stay behind. We'll let her talk with her father, who she doesn't remember." You know,
She got this. She doesn't need us.
So we stayed behind like a considerable amount, and they went all the way to the throne room, and we're like outside of the castle talking to each other.
It took like half an hour to get there.
And that was when Eden walks into the throne room and he like betrays you. I don't remember what he did.
I was giving like a big speech, and he came in and was like, I forgot what he said.
He was like, "You're gonna let this underling take your spot."
Yeah.
He like convinced him to fight you.
Yeah, he convinced him to fight me. And then we
It's
fought.
just terrible.
Well, and so when you went to fight, Rodney was like, your dad, his name is Dragul, I think. He's like, he turns on his divine rank 0 aura. And me, Scott, and Sam are all outside like, "God aura!" Like, well, that's suddenly not something Nicole might be able to fight on her own. Like, what? And then we're like, we're going to start running there. Rodney's like, 14 rounds. We're like, "Oh, fuck!" But then, yeah, like that's how far it would take for us to start running there.
Jesus.
But then Nicole was just like, "Oh, I can beat him."
And I beat him.
Yeah,
beat him.
I didn't kill him. I made him take the knee.
And then she became instead of princess, she became the actual queen of all vampires.
And we finally got there, and we were like, "Oh, we knew you could handle it."
Yeah.
Sorry, it took 14 rounds. What's going on?
And then my brother left right when we were fighting.
Yeah.
So
What a little bitch.
He ran away when you started winning.
Little Eden the Terrible.
He's
pretty
He
terrible.
was the worst.
it was horrible. I wish he wasn't so terrible.
Didn't you kill him like for real that time?
No.
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 It was at the
later.
thing.
What a
Yeah.
punk bitch,
Yeah,
Eden.
he
He
ran.
ran.
He ran and hid that whole time while we were doing everything.
Yeah, we
Pretty
did that.
terrible.
And then after that, we realized that we were going to have to give up everything to get into Carceri. Because we did the ritual to open the door, but you didn't have to give up everything until you went through it.
Is there any
So,
way before Carceri?
yeah. That's what I... Because Nicole realized that she was going to... she wanted to eat gnomes because that was definitely what she was going to have to give up. Was drinking gnome blood.
That was kind of like, at a certain point, we changed gears. Not only were we going to Carceres, but we had this brand new special mission.
Yeah.
This
That was like, do what you can with the things you love because it's going to go away.
Yeah.
All
of us had, like, we knew that we were going to lose our favorite things. And, like, it didn't take us long to figure out what our favorite things were.
Yeah, like...
Yeah.
Like, some of us had, like, 2 options, but, like, Nicole's was definitely
It was either gnome blood or, like, being a vampire, which,
yeah, right.
you know, we didn't want to take that.
Oh, I was obsessed with sparkly stuff too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but not
stuff. No,
to the
I'm
same
not.
level.
It wasn't to the same
I was trying to
extent.
make excuses the whole time.
Yeah,
for
right.
being unloved.
Me too. I was trying to figure out something that I could lose that I wouldn't hate losing.
Well, what'd you give up, Sam?
Brains.
You gave up eating brains?
Because brains have become my favorite thing.
You definitely had.
I
was
was
100%
eating brains
like-
everywhere. And I sauteed them, and I shared them with my god every time.
I had to
God
give
and
up
I had
chess.
such a great dynamic.
Because I played chess with everyone.
Scott had to give up being a Dargan.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Scott was a Dragon Rock kobold. And
Who loved
his,
dragons.
his whole character had been built around how he was so glad he had become a dragon. And he was not a kobold anymore. And that was definitely his favorite thing, was the title of dragon. And Ronnie's like, you're not a dragon anymore. That's what your favorite thing was, is being a dragon.
That's your punishment.
So now you're like a false dragon. And he was like, that's awful. That's so definitely my favorite thing.
That's the opposite.
I think that was what made that campaign, like, extra special, though. Like, because it's one thing, you know, that could have ruined a lot of characters, losing your favorite thing.
Yeah.
But these characters were so fleshed out at this point that it was like, that is just a consequence, but the character I still like. You know what I mean? Like,
There was only one obsession. Not obsession. I don't know the word. No, like where you get a freebie.
One exception,
exception.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We all had ours.
We all had
Yeah, there was one thing that we were allowed to do that thing with if you found it. Like,
We didn't know what it was.
yeah, we wouldn't know until you found it. Like, Nicole, well, that's we'll talk about that when we get to it.
That's literally the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
literally-
we
Except
don't.
for Scott.
How much time do we have? Can we keep talking about it? Or?
Well, we're actually almost at the end, so if you want to save what do we have left, just Carceri?
No.
No.
Alright, well, if you just want to save what's left before Carceri for the next episode.
Yeah, there's more.
I guess.
Get ready.
I don't think it's a huge amount, though. We're closer.
Yeah.
But it's more about like.
It's going to be more of, like, recapping things that were like, also this happened, Like,
So
I'm not sure if it's in order
The
anymore.
footnotes of the remainder of the campaign before Carceri, which was almost its own separate campaign, but still on the...
It ended up not being. We thought it was going to be
Okay.
more than it was. We
It
were
was-
so strong, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and
it's
hit
still
on,
got some talking about it.
Yeah, right.
we're going to hit the footnotes and at least start Carceri, maybe finish it next podcast. So thank you for joining us on this edition of Dungeons and Dialogue. I have been your host, Joey. We've had our 3 special guests, Dylan, Sam, and Nicole, on as usual.
That's right. Hi.
Hello.
And do join us again next time.
Oh,
A little bit.
Instagram,
Oh, right.
Twitter, Facebook, YouTube,
Your D&D
Twitch.
channel.
your D&D channel.
On all of them.
Links in the bio
Links in the bio.
That's right. Arrivederci.
or description.